Ladies and gentlemen, would like to welcome you aboard. We kindly ask that you fasten your seatbelt.
And eat your fucking nuts. This is Confessions on the Fly with
LJ
and Flight Attendant Joe. And welcome back, everybody. How you doing today?
Hi.
I'm doing...
Well, how are you?
I don't know.
How do you feel?
I don't know.
Tell me about it.
I forgot what I was going to say.
What are you going to say?
I don't know. I need more coffee.
You don't like coming to LA.
Well, you know what it is? It's the traffic and then not enough coffee.
And
then
me driving.
Well, then you put me in the seat. Well, your driving is out of control. I feel like I need to be a Christian just so I have somebody to pray to.
But doesn't my driving make you want to believe in Jesus?
No, it makes me scared for your road rage. Because I feel like if you could, you'd get out and start punching people in the highway.
I do have really, that is something I'm working on. I have very bad road rage. I'm a good person, but I just get very angry behind the wheel. And it doesn't help that I'm an awful driver.
You are not the best driver.
I'm not a great driver.
Thank God you're not a pilot.
No, definitely not.
If you had pilot rage, well, is that sounds like a thing. I think I have pilot rage every time they come on board the airplane. Sorry, that was my erection. So what's going on with you? I haven't seen you for a while. How was your week?
It was good. I would like to do an addendum to one of the podcasts we've done recently when we were talking about pets on a plane.
Do we do that? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want.
Oh, okay. I guess your name goes first.
Because you're famous.
Well,
and I'm your sidekick.
I just set that up so you could say that I was famous.
There you go.
But no, go ahead. What's going on?
No, I want to do an addendum too because we talked about animals on a plane.
Yes, we
and
did.
And the crazy animals on planes, pets on planes. And I pulled a Jessica Chastain and I said that I prefer that animals are on planes and babies are on planes and kids. I prefer to work with them than regular adults. And then, of course, karma. The next flight I had the craziest family. 2 kids, mom and dad, 2 little kids, 2 pets. One was a pet, one was an emotional support. Where should those animals be?
So a mom, a dad, 2 kids, and 2 pets. One's a pet and one's an emotional support.
Correct.
They should be at the gate and not on the airplane.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
Great. So everybody was on a tray table. Let's just say that. One baby was bouncing on a tray table, using it like the butt of the baby was bouncing on the tray table.
Disgusting.
The other baby was nursing with the mom.
Okay,
and
that's
then
all right.
That's totally fine.
Yes.
The dog was using the tray table to eat. Literally, they sprinkled.
You're losing me.
Sprinkled the pet food on. I swear to.
You're lying.
I swear.
You shouldn't lie to our listeners because this is not real.
They had the pet food on the actual tray table. So, ladies and gentlemen, bring sandy wipes with you because. Disgusting. And I literally walked by. I was so thrown off when I walked by to see this happening. I literally was like, my response to this was, none of this is okay.
This is all bad.
This is all wrong. All of this is wrong. And it all needs to be fixed immediately.
Oh my God.
Food, like dog food on the tray table. Disgusting. Baby bouncing butt. Granted, there was a diaper, but what
if you break it?
It's disgusting. Bouncing baby on the tray table.
I hate everyone.
I know. So I was like, I wanted to put that in there, addendum of I retract my statement of I prefer babies and animals on flights.
Okay. All right.
So
well, this addendum, I approve of this addendum. This reminds me because my husband works for someone who has a bunch of cats and she just throws the food out on the floor.
Randomly?
I guess she has a mountain of food on the floor somewhere. I could be exaggerating because I'm known to exaggerate, but no, I think it's a mountain of cat food on the floor. Dry food, mind you, not wet, because that's just wrong. And the cats just eat whenever.
Oh my God, that's so gross.
But that bothers me because I have 2 cats and they don't do that. But animal food on a dog eating off a tray table.
Off a tray table.
I would have diverted the airplane
off a tray
into
table.
A mountain because we should all die if that's where society is.
It was so gross.
I'm so upset about it. Well, thank you for sharing that with
me.
And I'll never ever be the same.
No, exactly.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. That was my addendum.
Well, that's a good addendum. What else is going on?
That's the big thing. Yeah. What are we talking about today?
Well, I have to share a story that I saw online.
Interesting.
And it's about a flight where somebody just recently got arrested on a flight because the passenger was aggressive and angry towards the flight attendants and verbally abusive. So this episode is about drunk people on an airplane.
Drunk people on an airplane.
Yes, drunks on an airplane. Not good.
Not great.
Not good. So apparently in this situation...
Okay. We've read about this?
I read about it online. It was on a JetBlue flight, and it was a guy flying from... I think it was like Boston to somewhere in Florida.
Okay.
I don't know exactly, but apparently the flight attendants refused to serve him alcohol.
Okay.
Because he was presenting himself as being intoxicated.
Tell us in full details. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, like, so if I was there, you want me to give you the... okay, so if I had been working... If it was me on this flight...
Give us the details.
If I worked for that airline... it would all have started during the boarding and the safety demonstration when one of the flight attendants was doing the safety demonstration and this passenger couldn't get his TV to work. So he started yelling like, get the captain, get the captain.
Get the captain for your television?
Get the captain for you because that's what the captain does. He puts the brakes on the plane, opens the door, comes out and fixes your television. So apparently...
I didn't know he worked for Comcast or DirecTV.
Well, flight attendants don't either.
Oh, okay.
That's why when people are like, can you fix my TV? I'm sorry. I can get you a Diet Coke.
I left my utility belt at home today.
I'm sorry. I'm a Wonder Twin activate, but I can't fix a TV. So he... I love that. Remember? Right. Wonder Twins. We're Wonder Twinning people.
Yay.
If you don't know what that is, I feel bad for your childhood.
I had a Wonder Twin in college. Kieran.
Would you
Kieran
guys
Brown, Wonder Twin. Woohoo!
Activate.
Yes!
I would always say form of a woman because I had a problem growing up. So that's where I think the story started. So one of the flight attendants tells the other flight attendants, hey, listen, let's not serve this guy alcohol because he's presenting as intoxicated. Because you know when people are intoxicated, they're talking loud, they're slurring their words. So long story short, all the flight attendants talked to this passenger. The passenger did not stop arguing, dropping the fuck bomb.
Ooh,
did you mark that?
I'm going to mark that down.
LJ loves to keep track of every time I say fuck. That's one,
but you're also recounting a story, so I feel like I don't know if...
I would count it.
I'll count it.
Okay.
It's one.
So, well, there's going to be more coming.
I'm not
dropping the fuck bomb, called one of the flight attendants a fucking asshole, so this one of the female flight attendants was talking to him.
Okay.
And she said, well, I'm sorry, sir. We're not going to be able to serve you alcohol. And he said, oh, look at you. You're not sorry. That's what the airline tells you to say. You're just standing there staring at me with that bitch face. Can you imagine? Can you imagine working a flight and being called a bitch? Like, can you imagine if somebody just said to you, look at you looking at me with that bitch face?
Oh, my God.
So apparently, they landed. The authorities came on board. They escorted the guy off.
Okay.
And from the story I got was that the police were just going to say, listen, dude, you can't get crazy on board the airplane.
No.
If the flight attendants tell you they're not going to serve you alcohol because you're intoxicated, and when they start arguing with you about it, they're drunk.
Obviously, be an adult.
Right, slurring their words, acting like a complete and utter jackass. So apparently the cops get this guy to the gate. He comes off the airplane fine, gets to the gate. Then
he wasn't escorted off the plane?
No, they walked him off.
Oh, okay.
The police came on board. Everyone stayed seated. So everyone stayed seated. If I had been there.
If you had been there.
If I had been there, I'm sure everyone stayed seated.
Gotcha.
And then they escorted the guy off the airplane. And then at the gate, he decides to start arguing with the police.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So
well done.
To the effect of, you wouldn't be doing this to me if I was black. You wouldn't be doing this to me if I was Hispanic. Now, according to my sources, one of the cops was Hispanic and one of the cops was black. So they basically said, you know what? We were just gonna...
Is this guy single?
I showed a picture of him to my husband, and my husband said, why are they flying white supremacists around? So, and another friend said he looked hot when I showed him. I was like, look at this crazy person. Should I talk about this on the podcast? They're like, yes.
Does he have crazy eye? Because I feel like I should date him.
I wouldn't even call it crazy eye. I'd call it Lindsay Lohan eye. He's out of control, right? So, so apparently at the gate, the cops were just going to be like, listen, dude, you can't act like an ass on the airplane. Chill out. Boom. But then he went crazy.
Love it.
And then they were like, all right, now you're arrested.
Now you're arrested.
So then
obviously.
he gets arrested. So, you know, so here's the thing. It wasn't even the flight attendants that got him arrested.
No, it's his own behavior.
He got himself arrested.
Your own behavior got you arrested.
Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine being that intoxicated on an airplane.
No.
And boo that he got through the cracks and crevices of the gate agents and the ticket counters and the TSA.
Yeah.
And then he got on the airplane and these poor flight attendants had to deal with this.
Yeah. Also, like, how long were you sitting in that airport terminal drinking your face off?
Right. You know, yeah, like how many drinks did you have? Like, that's something I always ask people of, like, if I feel like they've had too much to drink, I'll say, and of course, and have you ever worked a flight where somebody will come on and you automatically know, oh, they've had some drinks and I know they're going to order more. How am I going to deal? Like, I already start setting this up. Like, I'm sitting on the jump seat and I'm like, all right, I know the guy in 17C is going to ask for something. If you have your shit
together, I don't care. I'll serve you. I don't care.
Right,
like,
right.
If you're an adult and you're a grown human and you can handle your shit, like, that's fine.
I keep hitting my mic.
That's okay.
Because it reminds me of a penis, so I always want to go for it. I want to grab it, sit on it.
Two-hand.
But I figure you're here, it'd be awkward.
It's awkward.
But yes, I always think that when I'm sitting on the jump seat, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this drunk person? Yeah. Because, you know, and then you get there and you're like, hi, may I get you, what would you like to drink? And they're like, I want a vodka and seltzer. And you're like, of course you do.
I love it when people are like, I want a double Jack and Coke and a beer back. And can you bring me another right away? And I'm like,
well, it's a 40-minute flight, sir.
It's a 40-minute flight. And number one, I can't bring you all that alcohol at one time.
I've never had anyone. I've had people ask, like, I'll take 2 vodkas. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
No. Yeah, that's fine.
They're literally ordering for 5 people on a 40-minute flight.
No, this is one person ordering like a double. Like, if you're getting a double Jack and Coke or whatever it is and a beer and something, I was like, that's way too much. Like, what are you doing?
Like, just order. But I think sometimes...
Do you do that at a bar?
But sometimes I don't think... Well, at a bar, you're sitting at the bar and the bartender's in front of you.
Correct.
I think a lot of people are like, I need to order everything now because I don't know if I'm going to see this flight attendant because a lot of flight attendants pull that curtain.
That makes sense.
And then you never see them again.
That makes sense.
So they're like, let me order this all now.
Sometimes I'll be like, I'll keep this on ice for you.
Yes.
That's my big thing. I'm like, that's fine. I'll bring you this first and then I'll leave the other one on ice.
Have you had an experience with a drunk person on a flight?
Oh, absolutely. My favorite story of all time was when I first started flying. I was brand new and I was lead flight attendant.
Okay.
Which was kind of a big deal, like to get to be the lead. And, you know, I was working with a very senior person and then somebody who was newer than I was.
Okay.
So just that dynamic. We were going up to, can I say where we were going?
Yeah, why not?
I was going up to Alaska. So long flight, red-eye flight. Red-eyes are usually easy because in terms of like people are sleeping.
Right.
You know? The hottest pilot too.
Oh.
Always. Why with all the drama, there's always like a super hot pilot.
Right.
And then like the old crotchety pilot. You know,
who was that? Was it the first officer?
The first officer was
they're always
there's
the
always
hot
hot.
Ones. Yeah, because
always hot.
They're my favorite.
They're so hot.
They taste good. Sorry.
Old crotchety pilot, super hot first officer, who's no longer obviously at my base or whatever. They transferred someplace else because he's good looking. So why would I get to see him on a regular basis?
Why would you sleep with him? Oh my God.
Sounds about right.
So
like
terrible.
So hot that you want to cry by looking at them. You're like, you're so pretty.
Please.
Like, please.
Take me in the lab.
In the lab.
Yeah. Inseminate me with your baby.
Oh my God, don't talk about babies around me.
Oh God, Lord knows.
No, but anyway, so I'm going up to Alaska.
Talk about distracting.
Right?
Go ahead.
Babies.
I was thinking dick. Sorry.
Priorities. So I'm going up to Alaska and I'm like, think it's an easy flight. Great. People are coming out. You know there's a problem when somebody comes on and asks, like, is there alcohol in this flight? And it's like, that scares me. Number one. So you can tell the chatty people. And then there was this woman who was sitting by the window. Chatty, very loud. You know, after you do service and like everybody's asleep by takeoff, you know that there's like a little bit to keep an eye out on. So apparently the person behind this woman asked or like said, hey, keep it down.
Okay.
Because it's a red-eye flight and people are trying to sleep. That woman who was speaking loudly gets up, reaches behind her, and starts pummeling the woman. Like, starts hitting
like beating her down.
Beating this woman down. So I rush to the middle of the cabin. I'm calling for backup. Obviously, I'm trying to like restrain this woman.
Are you like, watch my face? Don't hit my face.
Don't hit my face. Don't hit my face. It's it's the only thing I have going for me. Literally. And it's not that great.
No.
So
you'd probably be like, hit my face, not my uterus. I need to use that more.
I need that more.
If I hit this microphone one more time, I'm quitting.
No, you're done.
Go ahead.
So she starts pummeling this woman behind her. The woman in front of her is telling her to shut the heck up, trying to pull her off. I come in, my two backups come in. We're all trying to stop this woman. And I'm like, hi, look at me. Eye contact. Make eye contact.
The one who's beating her up?
Beating her up. So I'm like trying to distract her. I'm like, what's going on? Like, sit down. I need you to sit down. I'm trying to restrain her down. And she's like, I'm on my way to rehab. And this woman's harassing me that I'm talking too loud. I was like, then why are you hitting her?
Right.
Literally, why are you hitting her? Right. So I'm pulling her off, trying to distract her. My other flight attendants are getting the captain on the phone, figuring out what we're going to do.
Right.
The woman who's now was beating her is now hysterically crying. The woman who's sitting next to the woman who was beating the woman is like trying to calm her down. And she's like, I don't know this person.
Who was drunk? The one going to rehab?
The one going to rehab who asked me for a drink.
Now, were you flying from Alaska back to the...
I was flying up
to the U.S.
To the U.S.
I don't know geography.
Where are
I'm
you
sorry.
today?
I mean to the continent. What is it called?
The continent?
Like the contingent.
What?
Like Hawaii and Alaska, and then it's the 48. Like, were you flying back to the 40? Please don't.
I don't know.
We're going to stop talking about my ignorance and go back to your story. Go ahead. And first of all, I have to say, I've never seen you this excited telling a story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, my neck is red just thinking about it. Yeah.
No. Wait, what was the question?
Were you flying to Alaska or back to California?
We were flying to Alaska.
Oh, okay. She was going to rehab in Alaska.
I know,
That is not the place to go to rehab.
Which I was like, that's not the place to go to.
They're all drunks there.
They're all, exactly. That's exactly what I was saying.
What else are you going to do?
Exactly what I was saying.
Right.
So at this point, I'm trying to separate these people.
Right.
So I'm like maneuvering people around. I'm moving the whole row out. I was like, you head up front, you head in the back. I'm trying to like get in there to restrain this woman who's like freaking out and now crying. The lovely woman who was sitting next to her is trying to calm her down as well. Who like she just like grabbed her hand and the poor woman's mouthing to me. She's like, I don't know her. And I was like, it's totally fine. Like whatever. So the one flight attendant's up front trying to relay what's going on. He's brand spanking new. Like literally like fresh out of squeaky clean, right out of training, new. But he was amazing. He was so great. I was so grateful for the crew that I had that day. So I'm trying to maneuver this woman out of the row to get her to the back of the aircraft to like figure out what's going on so she's not hitting people. The poor woman that she was hitting behind is like just sitting there crying and like stunned. So I'm separating both of them. The captain's trying to get me on the
I can't even
keep
up with this.
It was insane. So there was a moment where I was on the phone with the captain and he's like, do we need to divert? Do I need to go back? What's going on? Because, you know, you're already an hour and 2 hours in. Do we have to fly back? Do we have to, like, are we going to make it there to come back? What's going on?
All right.
So I finally we calmed her down enough in the back galley to like keep her calm, keep her restrained. She's still asking for alcohol, still asking for a drink. I'm like, pretty sure that's not going to happen right now, sugar. Like, can't give you a drink right now. You're literally assaulting people on the flight.
Insane. Like, she's obviously mentally ill.
Well, going to rehab needs some personal time, you would say.
In Alaska.
In Alaska, of all places.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. That was one of the crazy experiences.
So did you have to divert?
No, we did not divert. We made it to Alaska.
Did the police?
We had escorts once we got there to take care of her and take her off the plane and whatnot. She passed out for not the rest of the flight, but for the last like 2 hours of the flight, which is great. I did get to go up to like the highlight of the whole trip was like me getting to go up to the cockpit
and
like
blowing up.
No, I didn't give blowies to anybody.
Well, what kind of story? How do you end a story like this when you end up in the
blowies?
Yes,
no blowies.
Oh my God. Well,
I did get to go up to the cockpit and like relay the story
with your boobs out.
With my boobs. No.
Well, so let me ask you for any straight guys listening.
Yeah.
If that's even happening.
Probably not.
During this brawl of women, did any boobs pop out?
No tits flopped or hit
We've just
the cabin door. We've lost all.
No straight men will ever listen to this radio station podcast.
All of our listeners are gone.
Well, only the gays and the women are probably still here.
Which is my demographic anyway. I hate straight white men.
Well, it's so interesting because have you ever been to Alaska?
No, I've never had a layover in Alaska.
Okay, so I've been to Alaska, I say 4 times in my life. And one time I spent like 5 days there. So I got to hang out in bars and talk to the locals, and it was in the middle of the summer. And I know I said something about I want to retract and say I said something about Alaskans are drunks.
Yeah.
There's probably I'm not going to say there's probably like 2 or 3 non-drunks.
Yeah.
But most of them.
The majority.
Because what else are you going to do? And I remember I was speaking to somebody from Alaska in a bar, and they're like, yeah, the only thing we do is drink, fight with our wives, and then get arrested and have sex and have babies because it's in the winter, it's dark all the time.
Well, that's what I say. It's dark all the time. Or in the summer, it's light all the time. Like, so you're thinking it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's midnight.
Right. When I went there in the summer, it was like that.
Well, that's the thing. Like we landed at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning and it's bright out. So it's a total mind
fuck.
There you go.
I was hoping you were going to say it, but I said it.
But I said blowies.
Well, it's so funny that you said the pilot said to you, like, do we have to go back?
Yeah,
do we have to divert? Because on that flight where that guy got arrested going to Florida, apparently he said to the flight attendant, it's in the news article, he said to the flight attendant, I guess he was swearing, and the flight attendant said, please stop swearing or we're going to have to stop this conversation. Because personally, I'm not going to let you swear at me on the airplane. I get paid okay, but I don't get paid that much. And apparently he said, and it's in the news article, what are you going to do? Turn around and go back?
Yep.
Which is almost a threat.
Yeah, it is. They're pushing your buttons to see if you were going to do it.
Right. Like, no, we're going to continue on and then have the police arrest you. Like, what is, what is your problem? So,
yeah.
But
I wonder if they had to use handcuffs or anything on the flight.
That I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I would have been carrying my flexi cuffs around waiting. Because I wear my apron. I would have had those things in and I would have been fanning myself with them like, I'm just waiting.
Ready to restrain.
Here's a bottle of water and here's some handcuffs. But I remember one time, I haven't had many drunk people on a flight, but I remember this one time like 7 years ago.
Do you fly to Vegas often? I do.
I do not.
I do. But I get a lot of drunks.
Like 7 or 8 years ago, I was doing a flight from JFK. I don't even remember. It was short. Maybe it was like DC. I don't know. Something like that. Maybe it was Minneapolis. Something. It wasn't a long flight. And this woman came on and she was on her cell phone and she was so intoxicated. So I watched her walk and stumble and fall over people and literally fall into her seat. So I approached her and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she's like, "I gotta get off the phone." Like she was hammered, like gone. So I was like, oh, so I called the gate agent and the gate agent came on board and I was just like, this lady's really drunk. Yeah. So he went to talk
First
to her.
Of all, like, how do you get past the gate agent?
Well, how do you get through? Like, maybe I can't remember if the flight was like hours and hours delayed, but she was hammered. So the gate agent's like, ma'am, we got to collect your things and take you with us. And she is like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not like hammered.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing there with my arms folded like, bitch, you ain't not staying on this fucking plane. Did
you go back to the gate?
No, we hadn't left. We were still boarding.
Okay. Did she get off?
So, yes. But the thing is, she's arguing, I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. He's like, ma'am, you need to come. She stands up from her seat like there's nothing above her. So her head cracks into the overhead bin.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, oh, yes, you're drunk. Yeah. Because she didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
Right? So then she's like, my husband knows the CEO, because, they always know somebody. My husband knows the CEO of this company.
They can always own the plane.
He's going to have your job. And she's pointing at me and I'm thinking, I'm not even the one who told you to get off the plane, but okay. And She ended up spending the night in the airport, I think, because it was the last flight for her.
Oh, that sucks.
So
sucks.
Excuse me, I just.
But if
burped.
that is the case, you should be flying private.
Well, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen of the podcast world.
Huh.
Don't drink so much that you're an asshole on the airplane.
Yeah.
And you're on public. This is the thing that people forget is airplanes are public transportation. If you got on a train and acted like a jackass, you would be kicked off the next stop. If you get on a bus and start yelling and screaming at the bus driver, the bus driver is going to kick you off.
Correct.
If you come on an airplane and start cursing at and yelling at your flight attendants, our job is your safety.
First and foremost,
it's not, I know, get it out of your brain. And people will argue on my blog. I've had people attack me and say, you're a waiter. Yeah. You're a waiter. And your job is, no, actually, our first job is to save you in the event of an emergency. Correct. Everything else is a fluff. Mm-hmm. It's like getting fluffed.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what that means?
I do.
Really?
You think I'm like a Virgin Mary, and I'm far from it.
Oh.
No.
I had no idea you know what fluffing is.
I know.
But now it makes sense because you're up in the flight deck.
Hey!
Boom. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, don't come on the airplane drunk.
Don't come on the airplane drunk. Or if you do, get your crazy out right away so I can kick you off with the gate agent. I've had that happen a bunch of like pulling away from the gate and then you're getting up to go to the bathroom while we're doing the safety demo and you can't function and move. And I'm like, we're going to have to go back to the gate and get you off.
Go back to the gate. But I've also had experiences where the person was drunk and the gate agent wouldn't take them off the flight.
Oh, no. They're supposed to have your back, man. Come on.
Gate agents.
I feel like we should do it. I feel like we should do a gate agent episode.
We probably should. Right. But what are we doing on time? How are we doing on time? Are we ready to wrap it up? Wrapping up drunks?
Wrap up the drunks.
My mom was a drunk.
Okay.
So I know how to deal with drunks. And you just have to go into it where you're not going to get them to understand you, and
Correct.
You're not going to get them to say, "You're right, flight attendant Joe. I'm drunk and I'm wrong."
Yeah.
It's never
going to happen.
Who do you think you are not serving me a drink? But bartenders don't serve people drinks. You get cut off.
Correct.
And unfortunately, if you're so drunk when you walk on, you get cut off before we take off. That's your fault.
Yeah.
That's not our fault.
My philosophy is always help me help you. Number one. Help me help you.
Right.
Let's pace yourself. Number one.
Right.
Help me help you.
Right.
Pace yourself. And don't get crazy. I'm going to use humor to try to get out of any situation, such as life, such as me in general, and talk to my therapist. But you know what I mean? That's going to be what I'm going to do to try to move this along to get you your cocktail, but also to calm you down.
Right.
If you need it that bad, let me offer you something else. Let me offer you, depending on how long the flight is. But if you get loud, get out of control, you're not giving me a choice.
Right.
Give me the choice of giving you options and helping you out. That's always my thought.
I totally agree. But, when somebody's intoxicated, that's like talking to a wall.
Correct.
And I just tried to explain. And another thing before we wrap up, people always like to bring their own alcohol on board the airplane.
Ooh, that's a big one. Please
I always have to tell people, if you, some airlines let you. Okay. Some airlines don't.
Correct.
It just depends on the airline. Mm-hmm. But if the airline that you're on, if they don't allow you to bring your own alcohol and drink it, then don't even bring it up.
Because that's like somebody coming into a bar and bringing your own bottle. You don't do that.
Well, and another thing is you can't just be sitting in your seat. We need to know how much alcohol intake you're taking in. Because if, you come on board and you're like high, and then 5 hours late, and you're normal. I don't mean high like stoned. I mean like, hi, welcome aboard.
Correct.
And you're fine. But 5 hours later, you're fucked up in the window seat. I'm going to be like, how is this person drunk? And this is bad.
Yeah.
So
because
flight
also
attendants
in an emergency situation,
right?
I need to know why you're not coherent.
Right. Like I didn't serve you any alcohol, and here you are throwing up all over the place. Correct. Oh my God, what's wrong? Yeah. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when you board an airplane with your little minis that you bought. Mm-hmm. And just know that we need to know how much alcohol. This is an airplane. This isn't your buddy's backyard.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that.
That's all you have to say about drunks on a plane.
I have nothing else to say.
And we're wrapped.
Aha! I'm going to let you close this out. I need a sip of water.
Oh, drink.
Talk a lot.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Confessions on the Fly, and we will see you soon.
See you soon, guys. Thanks for
Bye.
listening in.
Fly safe, birdies. Bye.